Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get to this podcast off the ground, I had so many questions. How do I record an episode? Where do I find my background music? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? Where do I find the advertisers? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing and monetizing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and 100% ridiculously easy to use. So, if you want to start a podcast, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Hey guys, and welcome to the episode of Star Wars The Wednesday Awakens. I don't have any topics ready to cover. However, I do want to say, of course, we do have a thing that is related to Halloween and ever. We already seen the ones in comics that are for kids. Tales from Vader's Castle. And with horror theme elements, especially the one with Count Dooku being a vampire, which is similar to Christopher Lee, who was also Dracula. Right before he played Count Dooku, Christopher Lee was once Count Dracula. And Peter Cushing, who played Grand Moff Tarkin, was Dracula's adversary, Van Helsing. I tried to look for that movie where, of course, the Curse of Dracula. Yeah, it starred the two men who appeared on Star Wars. Here courtesy for A New Hope and and Christopher Lee for Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith and The Clone Wars. Movie only. But, although with that out of the way, let's talk about that topic. Alright, let's talk about the thing I'm going to be talking about. Should Star Wars make a horror-themed story or video game that is for adults and young adults? Yes, I think they should ever make it the horror. The only two books that had a horror themes and it revolved around zombies were Death Troopers and Red Harvest. Well, I already told you about Death Troopers. It's about the one with, of course, about the Longo brothers being in the Imperial prison known as the Purge. And with Captain Sartorius, right after their father had succumbed with a mysterious illness, and then it affected the whole Imperial officers and stormtroopers in medical facilities and prisoners. with the exception of two being Han Solo and Chewbacca, who later appeared to meet Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi at the cantina in Mos Eisley. And the five men, and Sahara Cody, a nurse, would do anything to survive. And the next one is, of course, Red Harvest, which is about Darth Scabarus. You know, there's of course one trying to make an element with the Black Orchid. So he just sent in the bounty hunter. He just sent in the bounty hunter, like a tusk, and then capture a Jedi who is also a gardener named Trace. And then they got of course, and they got women, you know. I'm not going to say the last one because I don't want to be controversial, but however, it does say about how a certain Sith who was an experiment became a zombie and infected the whole zombie apocalypse. Like in the icy planet of Orthan Falson, which of course takes place during the Old Republic era. However, and it's up to her brother. Like I say, it's up to her brother, the Ronin, to find and rescue his sister before. And will the Sith survive as well? Because, Hesto Trace, which of course this does not kill, transforms the whole infection into a zombie. But however, I am of course going to admit, however, that yes, if you get the audiobook, you're gonna hear some zombies screaming. You're gonna hear the screaming of the damn zombies every time, and they would begin to scream. But however, those are the only two so far that are horror. Oh yeah, Star Wars Galaxy, I didn't play that, but the zombies are canon, however. The Stormtrooper ones are canon. And of course, the Clone Wars episode. Then it has a horror element, which infects the Clone Trooper because of the parasite from an undead Geonosian. But come on, Disney. You can't make it marketing towards kids sometimes. I mean, it should be for everyone. Like adults, young adults, teenagers. But I think it's time for you to make a step up to the plate and of course make a zombie video game, like a survival. Like you get to play as an Imperial soldier. Get to play as the Imperial soldier, a first-person view, but in a Star Wars survival horror game, taking place at one of the planets that got infected. Has an infection, and there's zombies everywhere. The stormtrooper zombies. Yeah, cause and I want that game to be M-rated because it's gotta be dark. It's gotta be gory, like like a bitten off shoulder, a stormtrooper. And of course, blood, with guts. And of course, the stormtrooper will have to survive. So, yeah. I mean, the zombies have been, but, or better yet, make a game about Wampa. Maybe EA should make a game about Wampas, And that's a horror. Where the Wampas are feeding off the rebels and the Imperials. Like Joss the Unleashed. But yet, add the story mode to it about person. About a hunter who just hunts everything for trophies. And maybe go to survival and only one planet only. Like, it involves icy planets. Of course, with Wampas being the big bounty. And everyone, of course, which is... Yes, and include death and, the Wampa eating off the dead Imperial, the dead rebel, or of course, the bounty hunters, and kill off some of the bounty hunters, Like, that's the horror, Because I think it's time for Star Wars to bring horror elements into canon. Like I really want Disney to step up to the plate and, of course, bring in horror elements in canon. Because, I know I mean in comics, but, that one's for kids, but I mean the one not for kids. I mean the horror element not for kids, okay? It does, like a zombie horror, Project Blackwing. Project Blackwing, zombies, and or of course the Wampas, hunting for Wampas with a price to pay. Does it cost you one of your bounty hunters? So yeah. Pretty much like a Days Gone thing. Alright, guys. That's gonna do about it. And I'm gonna say, of course, that it's time for Disney to step up to the plate, make horror elements that are not for kids, and of course, terrify the adults. Alright, guys. That's gonna do about it. And I'll see you guys next time. And as always, may the Force be with you. And may God have mercy on our souls.